Hello, this is Malcolm Rose, and you may be wondering why I'm on the character creation screen. Well, last time I kind of splatted a little bit. I don't know if it's counted as a splat if you lose sort of at the mid game or the early game. I think a splat is technically if you die late. But what happened is I take the snap, I wake up a little bit groggy, and essentially I walked right into a spiny frog. And as I've said before, that's basically the most dangerous thing in Lair, that spawns in Lair normally rather than like a unique or something. And, I just rolled poorly, and then the fear scroll didn't work, which is very uncommon for something with only 20 magic resistance, but that's one of those things you have to be aware that certain things can fail even if they don't usually fail. So my bad. Unfortunately, the video that came out of it was not terribly entertaining. It was like 4 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to bother to post it. What I will do is I will restart this run right now, make basically the same choices: pole arms, fighting, dodging. And what we're going to do here is just try to, let me full screen this. Don't want to forget that. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just quickly, not too quickly, we're still going to play carefully, but we're going to remember to play carefully this time. So, same thing, Merfolk Gladiator, same stuff for training here. Pole arms are still by far the best with the +4 apt. Looks like we have, unfortunately we revealed 2 monsters here when we opened this first door. I guess it's the third door we opened. Let's swing on him. Actually, no, let's take a step back and another step back. And this way we can, one more step. We can swing on him a little bit. I was kind of hoping we could kill him before the gecko got here, and then we could close the door. But that's okay. As I said, we start with nets, so if we get hit, I'm probably going to use some. Looks like we're doing okay. I'm going to net. Okay, there we go. Yeah. See, thankfully we got our net back. That's sort of unfortunate what happened there, where we had 2 guys and there was just not much we could do. I could have closed the door, but of course it was a goblin, so he could very easily open it. But, it worked out, so that's not so bad. It's too bad about this entrance vault. See, the thing is, these doors, so many doors, they could make a loud noise. And then you've got potentially several guys coming to attack you. Oh, this is good. Rune Ringmill, I'll take the risk. It is cursed, but that's okay. Ringmail's fine. We're probably going to go a little more for EV this time, based on, something I had considered last time. Even though I generally err on the side of armor, because AC is just so much more reliable than EV. We walked and we got a goblin right next to us. That's unfortunate. But that's okay. Just a little worrisome because he had the dagger, but anyway, as I was saying, armor class is more reliable, alright, than EV, but on this character, with this much EV apt, or dodging apt, I should say, man, these blind corners. I'm just trying to get in here because, wow, there's a lot of stuff. I should be pulling this to a known area instead of fighting. Making mistakes already, oh no. All this stuff is unarmed, so that's good at least. And of course, we're a merfolk, so we're a very good race, so we can handle that. But I will say I think that was a bit of a misplay. I shouldn't have. As soon as I saw a monster, I should have started pulling to an area that I had already been to. And in general, taking those kinds of blind corners is not what you want to do. I did auto-explore there. I shouldn't have done that. As usual, I like being in hallways. Kind of keeps things from ganging up on me if he's got a friend behind him. Of course, there's a downside to being in hallways too, which is you only have one direction to run, and if something shows up behind you, well, you may be in some serious trouble. Oh no. This is bad. This is very bad. We don't have any staircases down yet. Oh man, and we have a D1 adder. This is one of the worst things that can happen on floor 1, outside of just a straight up, you know, out of depth spawn. The fact that these guys can spawn on D1, I think is ridiculous. But we've had some luck. We have a potion that's unidentified. We have a couple scrolls, 3 scrolls. So we're going to read the scrolls, because I would say this is not exactly a panic situation, but it is a very dangerous situation. We also can't forget that we have our 3 nets. Okay, magic mapping. Scroll of recharging. That's a shame. We're going to wait until he hits us, if he hits us, to do the net. Or rather, to use the potion. We're going to back up a little bit until he's 1 square away from us. And now we're going to try to net. Try to net again. Okay, we got him. Hit him. Hit him. He got hit. Let's try to net again. Alright, now we're in panic mode a bit. We're out of nets. All we've got is the potion. Hopefully it's something good or we can swing and hit. Okay, we got lucky. We got him. That could have been horrible. Because, as you know... I mean, let's just take a look at adder stats for a second. 5 damage, can cause poisoning if it hits you. And look at that giant pile of EV. That's 3 pips of EV by default. That's a lot. That is a lot for level 1, so... That's one of the reasons I really dislike playing melee characters. Because you're just really at the mercy of the RNG early on. I mean, yeah, I had my nets and whatnot, and they certainly helped. But... you know. It's like with the Octopode Air Elementalist, for example. At least I could do the double zap and have an extra chance of hitting one. But in general, adders are just a pain for most characters, I suppose. Okay, let's say... You know... Yeah, we'll actually use... I think I'm actually going to put this into dexterity. I've been reconsidering my usual strategy of never going dexterity except on a stabber. But I think on a character... If I recall correctly, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say that dexterity actually gives you a chance to hit for melee. Again, I could be wrong. Don't assume I'm right about that. I haven't looked up the code in forever, and I do believe it changes every so often, but if that's true, it's good to have more chance to hit. And plus, since we're going for more of an EV sort of character this time. Alright, there we go. So we pull these guys back. We have some stones now, which means we can... I'll just... yeah. I am going to auto-explore a little bit. Oh, whoops. I did not inscribe these with what I usually inscribe. Anyway, what I was saying was we have stones now, which is good. It's not too many, but at least we can hit things at range, and that's excellent for this early in the game. Again, if you wanted to play at like maximum safety, you would not auto-explore at all. Or at least not until you have a nice hit point buffer. But I mean, I think you've probably noticed if you've been watching these videos that I'm not the best at avoiding the blind corners anyway. You know, anytime you take a step around a corner, I guess, maybe not this one, but it's just very difficult to avoid blind corners 100% of the time. If you press O, unless you're really paying a ton of attention and you know exactly how line of sight works in this game, or if you're willing to place an exclusion to see where the line of sight's going to be every single time you make a questionable turn around a hallway, you're probably eventually going to make a mistake anyway. So it just kind of comes down to what your patience is. Do you have enough of it to consistently avoid? Uh-oh. Dagger of Venom. Do we want to fight this guy? I would say no. This is like a slightly less dangerous adder. He's not as fast as an adder, but... well, we have some potions now. Let's walk all the way to a staircase, right? And he will follow us. We'll keep this bat next to us because... oh, this is good. Here's the cool thing about bats. Bats move really weird. They have this... it's called batty. And what it does is it just causes them... it's their movement style. It causes them to move all around you as they attack, and they move super fast. These things will screw up the movement of other monsters. And so I'm a little more confident that I can throw a few rocks at this guy, and he should be slowed down a bit by this bat. Excellent, we killed it. See, I wasn't going to let him... if he had been here, I was going to start walking away again, because that's when you're in the double energy danger zone where he can move forward and attack you at the same time. But as long as he had at least a square between me and him, or maybe even if he didn't, this bat can just, in the process of moving around, can just kind of gum up the works, and then whatever's chasing you can have a much harder time. Shortblade Apt is +2. Honestly, this is good enough. I think I'm going to train it just a little bit. Just a little bit of short blades training. Probably not much, because I don't know. It's just so good, the +4 apt, that even if we found like a quick blade, I would almost be unwilling, just because short blades are not terribly good unless you're stabbing. Oh, hey, it's Sigmund. We will let this dog come to us, and then we'll go up. We're not going to fight Sigmund yet. This game is a little bit spicy already. We had a branded weapon goblin on floor 1. We had an adder on floor 1. Those are challenges that we don't like to see on floor 1. And now we have Sigmund on floor 2, so... if at all possible, we would like to hang out near dungeon features that let us get away, like staircases or even this shaft. Because if he confuses us, that could very easily be game over, although we do have a lot of potions. In fact, let's read... let's go to a staircase. Oh, whoops. Shouldn't have pulled both of those at the same time, but that's okay. We'll get short blades to like 2, and then we'll just stop. Short blades are really good without any training. Okay, I read a scroll. I had a 3-stack. I assumed that with a 3-stack it was probably Identify. That's not always true. Your highest stack is not necessarily going to be Identify. It's just usually that or Remove Curse. So we'll read the 2-stack as well, and that was Remove Curse. Which is fine. We have removed the curse from our ring mail. If we decide to take that off, then, you know, great. But for now, we're actually going to keep it on. Okay. So there is the school of thought that says, hey, we found Sigmund, let's immediately go down, because it's too dangerous of a floor. And we might. This is interesting. We have another adder here. With the Dagger of Venom, we're a lot more confident that we can kill this. Just because they are... Wait, hold on. No, I'm confused. They are not susceptible to poison. But even so, if I were to poison it, for some reason I thought they were like insects and they were actually vulnerable. They're not. But they're not resistant to poison. So if we had the poison hit it, then we'd be reasonably sure it's going to die fast. But that doesn't mean we want to necessarily take that chance if we can avoid it. These guys are resistant, so we're going to throw some rocks and... oh, geez. Running into a Crimson Imp on D1 is a little bit obnoxious. They just regenerate really fast. And because you have such bad accuracy... Alright, there we go. That's fine. That's enough short blades. We'll just go back into this stuff. Yeah, you don't need to train much in the way of daggers just to get them to serviceable time delay. Oh man, he's right there. Well, see, this is obnoxious because I can move left, fine. I can move left again, fine. I'm not going to be able to make it to the staircase without him having a chance to confuse me. I mean, I can keep stepping, and now he's in sight. I have to take 3 steps without him confusing me. So I have a couple options here. I could fear him, which kind of wastes a bit of my resources. Let's see, his scythe is not magical. I think I'm going to risk it because I have so many potions. And, yeah. Oh, he has a wand too? Oh man, that could have been lightning bolt or acid and we would have just been dead. But I wouldn't have felt bad about that. I feel bad about the spiny frog death, actually, from the previous MFGL. And that's because that was a totally avoidable death. But I do not believe that... acid or lightning wands on somebody on D2 is an avoidable death. Okay. We're going to leave this floor. This floor is really annoying. And we're just going to see if we can't just get a little bit of experience somewhere that's less hectic. Oh, another mistake last game, I think, was wearing the Bardich so early, even with the +4 apt. Our delay was just so massive. That definitely contributed to being able to kill things too slowly. Alright, cool. We have a ring of, an unidentified ring, and we have a scroll of remove curse, so we'll put it on. It's cursed, but it's of a beneficial thing, so we're not going to bother to waste the scroll yet, even if resist corrosion probably won't come in handy. It also won't hurt. Let's go down to floor 3 and see if we can't find something, you know, a little more friendly down here. Okay, definitely not. Oh, man. Oh, and he has blink. I forgot. Jeez. That is disgusting. Alright, he's probably immune to fear, right? Because he's a demon. And I think demons are... if I remember correctly, they're immune to fear. So, he has 62% chance to paralyze and 79% chance to pain us, and he can blink. Jeez, this is real bad. I guess we just have to go right back up. And on top of that, he's resistant to poison. So we're really in trouble here. We're going to walk backwards, and we're gonna hope. Oh, he immediately paralyzes us? Outrageous. Alright, that's not good. Let's think about this. I think our most reliable option, because we don't want to really panic drink. Now that we know he's next to us, I think we have to try to net him. Okay, he's netted. Alright. Now we have to decide on the choices. Are we going to just swing on him? We can get stabs, potentially. Probably not, but maybe. We get a ton of experience if we actually win, but he could always paralyze us again. He could totally cast while he's in there, by the way, I think. So the real question is, what's the riskiest option and what's the least risky option? Well, if we walk away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 paces to the staircase. So he might get out in that time. I would say it's pretty high chance he gets out in that time. We could just swing on him and then hope that the ant gets between him and us, but then he could just blink behind us and then we'd be into a real world of pain here. Let's see. This is rough. This is a rough run so far. Really rough, actually. We have a lot of material here, though, in terms of potions. My instinct is to attack. Because he's netted and because I have a dagger in my hand, and it's +2. I think we're going to attack and see if we can get some stabs. 1. Well, we got the stab. Okay, we're going to get the guy between us and him. Oh, man. Even if we net the ant, he will probably blink behind us. If we can get tree form, that'd be awesome. There are a number of potions that would help us a lot here. Berserk would help us, assuming we don't get paralyzed. Tree form would help us. Healing would be okay, but not really what we want. Might would be good. Agility would be, we would be okay. Not the best, but it would be okay. Probably most potions. Let's see. Resistance wouldn't help us. A lot of potions, anyway, would help us. Maybe half of them. A little less. Haste would be amazing. I think we have to start. Okay, we got agility. That could be worse. We got heal. Okay, he blinked and he's far away. Oh, he's so gonna blink behind us. I just know it. Teleport is what we really need. I mean, that's the bottom line. But we know we have a healing now. Jeez. So at least there's that. Agility, unfortunately, as nice as it is to have the extra EV, if he paralyzes us, we lose that. So I think. Oh, geez, we can't fight now. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay, good. That's the one we wanted. All right, we're good. Maybe. My God. I don't know if I handled that the best. I feel like there were some suboptimal choices there. Oh man, I'm going down. This is... I'm on D4 sooner than I would like to be. I'm only level 4 on D4, but I bypassed Sigmund and Grinder. Grinder, by the way, by far, in my opinion, the worst, most nasty, most powerful early game unique you could possibly see. Because for some reason, and I guess it's just like some kind of cruel joke, but for some reason, he doesn't just have Paralyze, he has Blink. And so you saw what happened to us. We got the Paralyze at range, and then we got the Blink right next to the character. And so it's kind of makes a joke about the idea of optimal play, because even if you don't auto explore at all, you see the dude from maximum range, he then paralyzes you, and now you've got this guy next to you that does like tons of damage. And you're just sitting there like, what do I do now? Alright, this is interesting. We have an ant. I'm not too afraid of the ant. I'm gonna... And the reason is because he's susceptible to poison, so he dies real fast. Crimson Imps are more annoying than anything. They can technically kill you, but I mean, they only do up to 4 damage. So if they kill you, it's going to be because you just missed a ton of times in a row. We're up to 42 hit points. That's a plus. And we're about to get a little bit of an AC boost. We got some armor and some weapons. I probably should have identified that sling where I did it on D3, but I'm not too interested in that. And we have a Scroll of Enchant weapon. We're having such a rough run, I almost want to use it right now, but I'm not prepared to devote myself to this dagger more than I have to. I'd really rather not, because committing to short blades for a long game, that is not terribly fun. I'm not partial to stabbing, personally, even if you can make it work. And you can make it work, especially if you're willing to go for like a goofy god like Uskawa. You can make it work. You can make it work with Rue. There's a few different gods you can make it work with. Oh, another enchant weapon, jeez. Yeah, there's a few gods you can make it work with, but do you want to? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're partial to it. Maybe you want to be like a ninja. That's cool. I mean, it's a cool concept, but I think it just doesn't work. I think in practice, stabbing it's more trouble than it's worth in this game, usually. I think it's funny that it's Edmund. I think it's funny that the god of stabbing, at least that's what I think most people probably think of him as, Dithmanos, is just not very good for the purposes of stabbing. Like, you would rather shoot a bow with him or something, or maybe even cast magic because of the shadow double attack thing. I mean, yeah, you have the jump into the shadows thing, but it's just not great. Alright, I'm just taking a look at my training here for a second before I go up against Edmund. Okay, fine. For some reason, I was under the impression that maces and flails got cross-trained by polearms, but they do not, because I'm looking to the future as to what I'm going to do with his dire flail once I take it from him. Unfortunately, we have this ant with us as well, but that's okay, because we have 2 Fear Scrolls, and unlike Grinder, we can actually use them against this guy. And we have a healing potion, so I'm not too worried. We're just going to lure this stuff. Okay, he's poisoned, so we'll walk away. He has a chance to hit us because he's fast, but that's fine, he's dead. Poison really does take him out quickly. Alright, so what we'll do is we're going to wait. We're going to wait here. We're going to let him come to us. We're going to throw rocks at him the whole time, right? He can do 6 damage plus the flail of crushing. So let's do a little math real fast just to see what kind of a risk we're in right now. So 6 plus base damage of 10 is 16, plus whatever Vorpal gives, which, what is it, 25%, 16%, 20, so if I round that up, 20% of 10 is 2, so it's just another 2 damage, not that big of a deal. So we can expect about 18 damage from this guy. So he can kill us in 3 hits, assuming that he doesn't miss or get reduced any by our meager AC. A decent shorthand, by the way, for how much your AC actually is going to reduce an attack. If you just divide your AC by 2, unless the formula has changed since I last looked at it, that is a pretty good way, and it won't always be that, and it's not always accurate, it's based on a whole lot of factors, but if you just divide your AC by 2, that's a rough estimate of how much is going to get reduced by the AC. That's my understanding anyway. I could be totally off on that, but that's generally what I've seen. And from the last time I looked at the formula, that was how it worked. Again, roughly. Okay, this is going well. He looks as sick as possible. So since he's can't be more poisoned, let's just take a couple steps backwards and let the poison do the work on him. Because the less turns we are in contact with this guy, the better. I mean, the less attacks he can get on us. And he's still poisoned, so he's taking damage. We'll hit him again. Okay, looks even sicker. That means the poison wore off a little bit. Hit him again. He looks as sick as possible again. Walk backwards. Random energy stole a turn from him. Oh, he's dead. Look at all that experience. Whew. We'll go for some more decks. We're not gonna bother to put on anything that he had. Well, on the off chance that this is like +9 or something, I'll wear it. Nah, it's crap. Okay. Sometimes he'll have like a dire flail, and that's... If Edmund shows up with a dire flail with a nice brand, you should consider going into maces. In fact, I would say that if you get like if you take, I don't know, a +2 freezing dire flail off Edmund and you haven't found another weapon that's any good by then, you should commit to maces at that point on most characters. Oh hey, the game is finally being a little bit generous to us. We found a temple on D4. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If red is in here, I'm going to take it. And I don't think he is. No, he's not. I was going to say I was going to take Retinmule, or however you pronounce it. I was going to take that just to make this as much like the previous run as possible. But it's not here. And so instead I'm going to make what I deem to be the optimal choice. We already did, let's see. I'm trying to demonstrate sort of a low level, I don't want to say low skill, but like low complexity sort of run. But I already did a Berserker, even if it was a speed run. And I want to demonstrate optimal choices as much as my patience permits. So if I were to say, out of all the gods that this temple has spawned, and by the way, if you wanted a different god than this, the other ones will spawn somewhere in the first, I think, 8 or 9 floors. They just spawn on what's called overflow vaults or overflow altars. But out of the ones we have here, usually if you get to the temple this early, you want to pick one of these gods for optimal play. So there are a few here that I would say stand out as the best choices. Trog is just overpowered as hell. That's always a good choice. Mokleb is excellent for what we're doing. We're not casting. Fedhas is probably the one of, if not the most powerful gods where you just are really, 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 really strong. Not exactly as soon as you get him, but pretty soon afterwards. But it is very tedious to play Fedhas, optimally or even at all. And then, of course, Gozag, with his potion petition, is excellent. We have a decent amount of permafood already. I mean, the game seems to want me to go into stabbing to some degree, so Gozag would be nice with the with the gold distraction. My instinct is to go Trog just because that's probably the simplest and most effective. It's the hardest to make a mistake unless you're just berserking everything. If I had an audience, I would probably let people vote on which god. Let me think about this. Pretty decent invocations apt. You know, I'm always going on about how Gozag is optimal. I'm going to go for Gozag, and I'm going to show that it actually is optimal. And you're probably thinking, oh no, what are you doing? If you haven't played a lot of Gozag, and you're, you know, you think it's only a god that you would only want to do if you were like a Spriggan or an Undead or something, think again. Oh, jeez. Doan and Duvessa. Time to go back to the grinder floor. Oh, man. We still have a remove curse. Maybe this will be... Oops. Maybe this will be electricity. Come on. Oh, it is! Oh, man, that's cool. Well, we'll keep the Dagger of Venom. Oh, man, this changes things. I still do not want to... I still do not necessarily want to wear this thing forever. I mean, it's still just a short blade, but finding electricity this early is awesome. Really, really, really good. All right, with that said, I don't want to be a dagger guy. Not really. So yeah, what I was saying was, you know, you're worshiping Gozag, and you're a living thing that has a normal food clock, and you're thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna starve. Not really. Because look at all, I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit low on permafood, and I have to eat this jelly, but as long as you're not, like, screwing around a lot, you should find enough food. I mean, look at how much food I have, and I've actually skipped 2 floors. I've really only done, like, 1 3/4 of a floor. Because I didn't do much of D2 because of Sigmund, I didn't do much of D1, or D3 rather. Like, this is all the D3 I've explored, and this is all the D2. I fully explored D1, but I've already got, not counting that jelly I just ate, I've got 5 really filling pieces of food. Alright, I'm gonna duke it out with her. And the reason I'm gonna do that, she can hit me for a decent amount. 1 more swing. Okay, I'm gonna go up. She will not follow you. She will not follow you. Oh man, I should have been using rocks. What am I thinking? Oh man. Oh man. Well, gee, I hope I don't see Grinder. I'm using the dagger over the rapier a little bit here because basically because it's going to hit more often, and that, especially versus that adder, I really just want to hit it once and get it poisoned. Okay, good. So for those of you who are not familiar with Gozag, I kind of was going into a food explanation without saying anything about the god. Gozag, when you kill something, it will never leave a corpse, but it will always, 100% of the time, leave gold based on, I believe it's based on the size of the corpse. So like an ogre or a giant will leave more gold. A goblin will leave a small amount of gold. Fun fact, if you explode them with inner fire or immolation, they'll kind of blow a coin shower everywhere. Alright, we have Duvessa still here. Yeah, she will not follow you up and down stairs unless Doan is right next to her. Unless Doan is dead. Yeah, the poison is a little more reliable. I think what I'm probably going to do here and what would be optimal is probably to get something poisoned. Maximally and then start lightning attacking it. Alright, now that his sister is dead, he will follow us up the stairs. So we're going to check on him real fast because he's in like a form of super mode. Oh geez, and he started with a Dagger of Pain. Stop tempting me to go daggers, game. This is getting outrageous. I'm going to stop training polearms, I guess, because now I am tempted to go. Well, maybe we don't have any books of necromancy. A Dagger of Pain is a very good reason to go short blades. One of the few reasons that you would really want to go short blades. All right, let's see. What I was trying to say, and unfortunately it looks like it's not listed here under Beam's database entry. When he goes into super mode, which is what happens when Duvessa dies, he freaks out. I want to say that he automatically gets hasted once he notices me. And then he has Throw Icicle. You notice he has Throw Icicle instead of Throw Frost. And I want to know how much damage it does because it's probably a lot. But the game doesn't want to tell me. So let's just... I guess we can just throw some rocks at him. We have a healing potion. Oh, yeah, seems to find hidden reserves of power. And then he blinks. Let's go up. And let's go back down. Now, again, it's been a little while since I've dealt with these two. I want to say that after that initial turbocharge they get, Duvessa, by the way, will go berserk. But after the initial, like, haste or berserk or whatever they get, they go back to normal. Doan keeps Throw Icicle, but they go back to normal otherwise. And I don't think he will haste again unless he casts it himself. Let's shout a little bit. This is a bit of a slow video this time, I think, but that's okay. We've had some challenges. I almost want to stay near this water just because I'm faster in it, but there's not really much of it. Definitely want to pay attention to weaknesses like this. Every bug in the game, for the most part, I think actually every single bug in the game is susceptible to poison. Not sure why. Okay, here we go. So it's Doan again. Oh yeah, haste other becomes haste. So we really just want to use fear, I guess, if this goes badly. But let's throw some stones at him. Him being far away from us is actually good. Oh, man. I was going to say it's actually good because... Okay, we're going to net him. It's okay. He can cast at us. Oh, no. He rips it apart. I'm going to stab him. The worst thing that could happen here is he icicles us twice. But I kind of was liking it that he was further away because Icicle only has so much range. Okay, he's poisoned. He's as sick as possible. Swap to electricity. Hit him. Okay, he hits us with pain. As you can see, we writhe in agony. We're not too afraid of a human wielding a Dagger of Pain. The formula for pain on a monster wielding a weapon with that ego, it depends on their type. So if it's like a humanoid type, it's going to be... It's always based on their hit die, but they're going to get less damage per hit die out of it than if, like, a demon was wielding it. Like if... I mean, I don't want to say Grinder because I think he hits with pain anyway, but if like a Crimson Imp had a Dagger of Pain, he would get more bang for his buck out of his hit die in terms of pain damage than Doan would. And he's dead. Let's just take a look at this Dagger of Pain. +3. Yeah, like the game is just like shouting at me to go daggers. This is actually outrageous what's happened here. I've found 3 egos on short blades, and I understand that short blades are the most common, or one of the most common. But I mean, finding a +3 Dagger of Pain, I wish I had knew or I wish I had known rather, that that was there, because I probably would have, maybe not probably, because Kiko wasn't in the temple, but I may have gone Kiku just to guarantee myself access to necromancy. Alright, I want to go up, but I don't want to fool with Grinder. I'm just up here to take a look at all the staircases. I didn't know where this one led. I hate that Grinder spawns so early, but it can happen, you know. Looks like we have a potion of heal wounds on the ground. That would be nice to have. It would be nice to grab our throwing net as well. I mean, we could probably kill him at this point. The other thing about Grinder is he actually has a decent amount of hit points. 39 is not half bad for early in the game. Geez, 53% chance of paralyze, and then he could just spam pain on us. But if we hit with electricity, he probably dies. Let's identify one of these potions. Mutation. Oh, man. We're going down. We'll just have to remember to take a look at those 2 floors. I hate to lose the experience, but it's not like it's a lot. It's just any little bit you can get at this point in the game. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. Wow. This is not something we want to fight at all. We really don't have a convenient way to kill this thing. I'm really tempted. I'm actually really tempted to train a little bit of throwing. In fact, I think I'm going to. Just to get a little bit more damage out of this, out of these rocks. Because, I mean, well, no real luck there. Let's go up. Let's just shout, see what comes back at us. I see one dog. That's good. Kill him. I don't know why I'm trying to butcher. I can't butcher anymore. There's no corpses. But we don't want to screw around too much. Because again, we're really on a food clock now, like a real food clock. Food clock is usually something that is like it's like a funny happenstance, like, okay, technically there's a food clock, but I'm not too worried about it. On Gozag, you have to be a little more careful. Not hugely, but a little bit. I meant to go over Gozag's abilities. I kind of got distracted for a while there. Potion Petition usually costs money. Your first one's free. You get 3 sets of potions to choose from, and you get all the effects of them at the same time. You just choose one of those 3 sets. So it's a bit random, but it's certainly possible for you to get like haste and agility and like heal wounds at the same time. Really, really good, really powerful. Anytime you need to kill something and you can't, boom, Potion Petition, and you can take it out. You'll run out of gold pretty fast if you spam that though, so don't. But it is good to know that you have that, and it is, in my opinion, the most powerful ability that Gozag has. You could do well to only use Potion Petition with Gozag, and you would win the game that way. He also can call merchants, which, you know, puts a merchant on the floor of the dungeon, gets more expensive every time you use it. And Bribe Branch, which is really, really, really useful, but in my opinion is more of an extended thing. You really shouldn't have to bribe anything in a 3-room game, although I think you can still bribe Zot, and it's outrageously powerful. The long story short is, some enemies go neutral, some enemies go friendly, and in Zot, I'm sure you can imagine why that's insane. Think like Orbs of Fire working for you. I really had no tomahawks, no javelins. That's a shame. See, I'm looking for ways to clear out Mr. Two-Headed Ogre because he's able to one-shot us. I think I've talked about how insanely powerful Two-Headed Ogres are. Now more than ever, we do not want to take any blind corners. On this floor, we know we've got something spooky lurking about. See, like, here, right here, look at this. If he happens to be, if the game decided to put him here or here, and I took a step here, he could move here or here, and then I'm just here sort of unhappily next to a dude that can do 100 damage to me. So your only option is to either just not walk through there or to shout and see if something comes back. And by comes back, I mean it'll say like, blah, 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 shouts at you, shouts back, you hear a bark, whatever. Honestly, I am tempted. I'm real tempted to just go downstairs. Oh, sound of rushing water. That's interesting. We've got a sewer on this floor. I like sewers. They're very easy. There's not a lot in there to be afraid of. We got a hornet zombie here who is resistant to, or immune rather, to poison, but not immune or resistant to electricity. So even though it's a hornet, which is kind of tough, we can probably take him out. And if we can't, we can just... Oh, let's go upstairs. We'll rest a bit. Dang! What do we want to do about this? Jeez, I wish we had something... Some kind of consumable that would let me kill him pretty reliably. I don't want to blow consumables like fear on him. I do want to get back on that floor as soon as I can. I could use magic mapping. I mean, for once I actually have magic mapping when there's a portal vault. Okay, he kind of wandered off. See, I'm concerned because now I don't even want to come back up the staircase because knowing my luck, the game will just place him next to me. Oh, geez, look at this. Come on, just... Okay, I'll go back up. The zombie's gone. Okay. We'll magic map. We really want to get in this vault ASAP. Looks like we've got some shops or something on this floor. Making it a bit difficult for us to determine where the portal vault is, because it's going to be in some type of water usually, and oftentimes it's in like a little maze or something, or a little mini vault, but this one is simple enough that we're not totally, I'm not totally sure. Ah, a centaur? This game is, it's not making it easy for me, I'll tell you that. I suppose that's what happens, but let's, oh, and the hornet's back. That's no good. Well, we've got heal wounds, we've got agility. I almost want to go ahead and drink. I'm going to drink agility if the hornet comes back. Okay, this is okay. Good, now he's next to us. And we'll just hit it until it dies. Nice. And remember, no matter what, we've got that free potion petition. Nice, okay. We're going to get throwing to like 5-ish. Oh, man. One of the benefits of... Actually, you know what we should be doing? Let's train a little stealth. Not too much, but just a little. It'll be nice to get... you see the gold... The gold will occasionally make the enemies distracted. As you can see from... Your enemies may become distracted by gold on this. Okay, good, he's dead, finally. And that gives us a chance to do stabs. And that's just from the gold lying around. Good, we found it. we're actually going to make it to a portal vault. I think it's becoming a bit of a meme with me where portal vaults spawn and I miss them because I'm not able to find them. Not this time. Okay, we're in this nasty water. As you can see, it says my legs become a tail as I enter the water. We like water a lot when we're merfolk. Because we move real fast. I don't know if... I think it actually might be Spriggan speed. I could take a look real fast. Swim 60%. So I think that's the equivalent of... what, speed 6, like, or speed 16, maybe? Something like that. Real fast. Now, there shouldn't be anything in here that can really cause us problems. Here's a fun fact about Gozag. If something dies over deep water and you're not a race that can pick it up, like Merfolk, it just goes straight into your inventory. Anyway, what I was saying was I'm training some stealth here just so I can get a few more stabs, because your stealth and your stabbing, or not your stabbing skill, your stealth and your short blade skill, or I should say weapon skill, because some things can stab that aren't daggers. Your short blade skill, your stealth, and your dexterity are what influence stabs or not. And apparently I've been shoehorned into being kind of a stabber, at least until I find a polearm that's not crap. Don't think that I'm actually going to be a stabber this game. It may seem to you at first glance that I'm kind of being stubborn, and I suppose to some... Ooh. Blowgun. Gotta be careful. I suppose to some degree I am, but with that said... With that said, short blades are just not very good. They're just not. I mean, unless you're worshipping Kiku and you have the Dagger of Pain, and, you know, pain is better than electricity once you get necromancy high enough against things that are susceptible to it. And, I mean, you might be thinking, well, I have this +0 rapier of electrocution. That's pretty good, right? It is, but there just comes a point in the game where you don't want it anymore, you know. You're gonna run into things that are resistant to electrocution, and then you're doing really bad damage to it, and it's just not ideal. But the good news is a +0 rapier of electrocution is good enough to just let you sort of coast through Lair for the most part. Oh, gotta be careful. That guy had a brand. It's a vampiric dagger. I guess we're just like trying to see how many brands we can find. Let's go away from these guys. I got poisoned. We move so fast. By the way, it's always good to fight enemies if you can arrange it. Have them be in the water, and you're not in the water. If you're not a merfolk. If you can set it up that way... Ah, cursed. We'll remove that. But if you can set it up that way, that's awesome, because they will get an attack penalty, and if you're out of the water, you won't. Now, we trained some throwing, and I was kind of hoping we would find a blowgun, because now we can actually hit things at range with something that's not a simple rock. Now we have a way to deal with two-headed ogres, sort of. We can actually go back to D2 and take down Sigmund pretty easily now, as long as we stay on the staircase, so that if he confuses us, we can go right back down. But let's see, we have 17 needles. That's not bad. I had hoped to be at Lair by now, by the way. Let's take stock of our inventory a bit. We'll read this Scroll of Identify. We're going to hit these potions. I am curious to find out what that 5-stack is, by the way, of scrolls. I don't want to waste it because maybe we're lucky and that's like blank. But I'm going to go... Let's see. We have heal wounds. And we have... There's a lot of potions left that we would really like to have identified. The only scroll that we would really terribly want to have identified right now, would be blank. And I don't think our luck is good enough that those 5 scrolls are going to be blank, so let's do the biggest stack of potions, and it's curing. Probably we could have expected that, but now that we have curing identified, we're even more prepared to take on Sigmund. Now, don't think I didn't notice this artifact earlier. I'm real curious. I'm real curious about this chainmail. But let's first take a look at what's going on here. And we have a really interesting scale mail that's minus cast, plus 8 strength. We have a scroll of teleportation. We can buy that right out. That's a get out of jail free card to a degree. Nothing else we really want here. Yeah, nothing else we were really interested in. Maybe that large shield later if we don't find another one. If we find a nice demon trident, be pretty cool. Yeah, this particular floor spawned with a bunch of shops, and that's extra good for us because we're just constantly getting gold. We should have used the poison darts on this guy. He's refusing to be poisoned. There we go. Don't want to forget to use the poison darts on things like that. I am not really using them on... Whoa, hello! +5 Ring of Slaying. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. We're going to tag that as something we want. We're also, speculatively, we are going to tag the Guardian Spirit as something we want. And the reason for that is we currently don't really have a use for our mana, but if we train evocations, we'll have a lot of it going towards nothing. So having half of that go to hit points, or whatever the formula is actually a pretty good trade. And we've got Rings of Pro Fire and Pro Ice showing up, so we've got a pretty nice selection. Actually, I'll put those on the list as well, just so I know that they're there. Yeah, having a lot of shops spawn is a real boon for anybody, but it's a particularly big boon for Gozag worshippers. Potions of Brilliance. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop those. Well, nah, I'll pick them up in case I find a book. It'd be nice to have them on hand. Uh-oh. This is a bit of a problem. We've got a lot of orcs, one of whom is a priest. I was hoping he wouldn't move like that. I wanted to catch him, and I wanted to walk back to this little area and get him. Let's wear the blowgun and see if we can't get him poisoned. If he starts spamming on us with the smite, which thankfully he doesn't seem to be doing, we have ways of dealing with it. We have a lot of healing potions now. We even have curing potions, I guess, although those are suboptimal. We have Fear Scroll. We have a lot of things to do before this turns sour, so I'm not as worried as I otherwise would be. Plus, these orcs don't have egos or anything on their weapons, so it's not so bad, although we still don't want to be surrounded. Alright, the thing we were mostly concerned about is dead. Which is the priest. You'll see me changing my items around a bit. That's just so I can press the, what do you do? The, apostrophe, I guess. yeah, the apostrophe key, and it'll swap you between lowercase a and lowercase b for your weapons. It's just a shorthand. That's all it is. Oh, check this out. This is a fun trick. Okay, we're going to swap to the blowgun. Boom. We're going to poison this guy. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's not fully poisoned yet. Even sicker. Like, oh no, he's coming around. What are we going to do? We're going to go into the water, and we're going to laugh as he has to come right back around. Sick as possible. Wait. And he just dies, and we could just kite him like that forever. Just realized I had nothing but stealth on, and we have enough of that for now. So we'll go back into our defenses. Yes. Got another jewelry shop here. Nothing of interest other than the cheaper versions of what we wanted. I guess I'll tag Pro Magic and... Wow, there's a ton of Pro Magic in here. That's good. Poison resistance is good. Nothing here that particularly catches my eye, but these are things that are good to be aware of for the future. Dagger of Draining. My god, I think I have found every... Have I found every single ego available on a short blade except for Flaming and Ice? Because I think I have. This is getting kind of silly. Okay, it's a little harder to kite these priests like this. They're going to be able to smite us, obviously. So, that's unfortunate. However, because of how fast we move... We can just sort of... see, we're gaining ground on them. And now he gets to be poisoned all over the place. I'm just going to let him die to poison. Have fun, dude. Okay. Yeah, I love finding pools of liquid, or I should say water, on a race that can go into the water. Because if it's deep water, that means that I've just got this cool little kiting area that I can use against anything that's just sort of a beat stick. Was it this floor or the last one? Yeah, it's this one that has the two-headed ogre. If I had found some water on D5, that would have been great. Because, obviously, I want to kite that stupid ogre around. But I've got this, or two-headed ogre, that is. But I've got this ogre. And he's gonna get kited. He got double energy there. It can't happen, so be aware. Now we're gonna poison him so much, and he's just gonna take it. Boop, boop, boop. Unfortunately, the adder doesn't want to just take it, but that's okay, we got him. We'll use Dagger of Venom against this guy. Oh, here we go. Check it out. Scorpion is distracted by the nearby gold. I don't know how the formula works for this anymore, because they have changed it at least once since Gozag was implemented. But the bottom line is that if there's gold around, I want to say that it's now, the effect is now centered on you, not the gold. And if something is near you, it has a chance to get distracted by the gold. Now, I'm not sure what, I think it's a flat chance based on how much gold is around, but I'm not positive on that. I don't think it's affected by like your level or anything. I really don't know. But because they're distracted, there's a chance that you can stab them. And so oddly enough, I think Gozag worshippers actually make one of the best stabbers in the game. Which apparently I'm turning into a stabber, because I'm just going straight dexterity here. That's certainly something. Oh, we got a Shadow Imp, or as I like to call it, a mini grinder. I'm gonna... Good, he hasn't noticed us. I'm gonna try to take him. Yeah, there we go. So many shops on this floor. I mean, this is actually... It's good. We'll take these potions and things. Kind of blew a lot of our gold there. But these are all things we want to see. Scrolls, wands, potions, things that are not necessarily going to be good. I want to get this amulet as well, but it might be crap. Let's, it's 100 gold. Let's risk it. It could be cool. But we're going to identify it because it might be harm, and harm is bad. Okay, that's useless to us. I guess we'll put it on, but it's not going to do anything for us right now. Waste of 100 gold, oh well. Alright, so now we have all this stuff. And here's the cool thing, we have these 2 wands, and those are great. Those are really good. And it won't hurt us to train some evocations for a while, because those are nice wands to have. Those are things that kill 2-headed ogres. Those are things that kill stuff we couldn't otherwise kill. I'm going to eat fruit. This is a micro-optimization. I'm going to eat fruit before I eat anything else. And I'll tell you why. Fruit takes the same amount of time to eat as other food. This wasn't always the case, but now it is. And so, if you're in the middle of combat and you really need to eat, chances are good you're being hit by something stupid like a hungry ghost, or you've cast a bunch of magic that sucks your spell hunger super fast. So you want to be eating something that gives you more nutrition than a fruit. And so, if you have the time to spare, then chances are good you would like to use fruits. Whoa, walked into a teleport trap. That's unfortunate. Let's just tap through these guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we don't need to be worried about orc wizards anymore, but we're at the point where it's getting a little bit easier. Got a scroll of identify over here. Now, this is the part where I start identifying things that are not necessarily potions or scrolls, because now I have wands, and I don't want to waste any of these charges, because these wands are great. I'm partial to Ice Blast more than Disintegration, because it can't fail. I mean, there's no magic resistance involved. So I think I'll identify that first. Yeah, I think I'll identify that first. So 10 charges, that's not bad. And remember, all these shops on this floor, we're gonna have the gold eventually to buy everything out of these shops that we could ever want. And we got a really nice one here. We can get haste identified and resistance and ambrosia and invisibility without a scroll. So here's a little mental note we want to make. We don't want to identify any more scrolls, or any more potions rather, until we buy out these things, because we're getting a free identify for the price of a potion along with it. In fact, as much as I want that haste right now, let's go ahead and grab the invisibility, and we'll tag all this identified stuff as things we'd like to buy. I took invisibility over might because we have some stealth, and invisibility is a decent get-out-of-jail-free card. It's not exactly as good as other options. Things have a tendency to just chase you. Even though you expect invisibility to save you, it just doesn't. So I wouldn't rely on it too much, especially if you haven't trained stealth. But in this case, it's pretty good. Alright, we're doing okay. We're going to go back to D2. Well, let's explore this. We can auto-explore. I know that there's a 2-headed ogre on this floor. Phantoms are obnoxious. They have a ton of hit points for this point in the game, and they regenerate. They're like Crimson Imps on steroids. Generally not something you want to see, even though they're not, like, terribly dangerous. Alright, let's see what our first artifact is. Well, our first... Whoa, hello, oh my god! Alright. The Slay -3 is not great. with that said, this is pumping our AC to fairly ludicrous levels for this point in the game, while still having decent EV. Is it worth it? Well, I mean, we got the strength bonus, which counteracts the slaying to a small degree, but not as much as we'd like. It's +8. I mean, the general formula that you want to follow is 1 AC is worth 1 slaying, I guess. But with that penalty is not something we want to see. I'm going to wear this. I am going to wear this. And I'm just going to bear in mind that maybe I'm going to miss a little more and do a little less damage. Because, I mean, wow, a plus 8. I just don't think I can turn it down. Okay, let's be advised. There is that guy, Mr. Ogre. What can we do to kill him before he gets next to us? Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. Not a lot, as it turns out. Oh. They sort of moved out of the way for him. Isn't that a shame? I think we're gonna... Okay, we have a little evocations training. We're gonna do this. Oh, he doesn't want to take damage. Oh, man. Alright, let's hope... Let's hope that he doesn't get double move on us. And we're going to make it to a staircase, hopefully. That's a Rue over there, one of my favorite gods. I am excited to do a Rue run for you guys. That would be cool. He's really, really fun. I think he's the most powerful god in some ways. Especially if you can rush to, if you can rush to Apocalypse. You notice this goblin is slow. Appears he sacrificed speed. This vault's kind of funny because it will spawn a guy who is paralyzed forever. I guess he sacrificed a little too much. But yeah, Rue is the god of sacrifice. Auto-explore takes us within 1 square of the ogre. I'm none too pleased about that. This lizard is blind. Not sure how the lizard is worshipping Rue, but whatever. Alright, here's a simple ogre. We'll just poison him a lot. And wait for the poison to do its work. Or we'll just attack him and wait until he dies. That's fine too, I guess. Okay, unfortunately we did not find the ogre, but we're just going to go to D2. Oh, nope, there he is. Okay. Let's try this again. Poison, 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 poison. Now he's fairly sick. Let's see what this does for us as we kite him a bit. What a shame that there's no water on this floor, because if we had that, we could really make his day worse. But we have 6 scrolls of fear, so it could be worse. Unfortunately, he's already feeling more healthy. God. Ice Blast, unfortunately, doesn't do a lot to him. Let's fear him. And once he's at maximum distance... This is a little bit wasteful, using a scroll just for that. At the same time, he's a nice big pile of experience, and if I take him off this floor... Oh, he hit me. Double energy. If I take him off this floor, first of all, the experience is nice, but secondly, him being gone from this floor means if I move up and down from this floor, now I don't have to be worried about this ogre that I already found. I mean, sure, the RNG could just make one to show up anyway. But, I mean, all things considered, it's better to... Wait, what was that ghost? Okay, no spells. Oh, Merfolk Gladiator. Maybe he was inspired by this run. Or the last run. Told you it was a common combination, though. I'll put these boots on. Right, but long story short is, if you can take out a threat like that without wasting too much resource, too many consumables, you should probably consider it. And the reason for that is just, you want to go up the stairs and get hit twice, and you're already injured and die. It'll happen. The RNG will find a way to make it happen. So it's better to just be aware. Ooh, what a shame this is. Look at this. D2, and we find all these altars. If we had actually found these and... Oh, the altar is a mimic. Oh, never mind. Getting trolled by Zom over here. The one altar that's real is Zom's. It's about to launch into this diatribe about how cool some of those gods are and how we probably would have taken one of them if Sigmund hadn't warded us away. Kind of funny that he spawned with a flame wand, considering that he already has throw flame. We're just going to tab him now. He will not cause us a problem, even if he confuses us. What is he going to do? We'll just quaff curing if we really need to, but we're going to avoid that if we can. Is he really going to make me use consumables? Okay, good, he didn't. We're not going to identify the Wand of Flame. We are going to identify the Wand of Disintegration. And we're not identifying potions now. We want to buy those things out. I did remember. Let's identify this 6 stack of scrolls. Whoa! Enchant armor. Okay. Okay. Let's... We're about to get 6 AC, guys. Let's just get our Ox armor up. Awesome. That's 6 AC. 25 AC, 13 EV. Those are some good defenses right now. I am liking this. I'm liking this, and I'm liking that chainmail that we found. Chainmail is pretty big in comrades rating, 15, but I think that's the same as Storm Dragon armor, something like that, right? Yeah, 15. So it's not terrible. And it comes with a starter AC of, I think, 8. Yeah, 8. So we're getting 16 AC from this thing. It's not half bad. This is, I would call this endgame quality. We're still kind of, it's like the heaviest medium armor, I guess you could say. But it's not terrible. A lot of people would see that -3 slaying and immediately just say no, but I disagree with that line of thinking. I mean, we've done okay for ourselves so far after wearing it. Now, here's the grinder floor. With 72 hit points and the defenses that we have... Ooh, tomahawks. With 72 hit points and the defenses we have, we are significantly less afraid of Grinder's nonsense. He could still, in theory, he could still like paralyze us and cast pain like 6 times in a row or however long it paralyzes. But it's less of a risk now, because even if he does that, we've got 80 hit points he has to chew through. And he is not resistant to electricity, as I said a while back. So if we hit him, he's probably going to die. And on top of that, we can just disintegrate him, and I think I'm going to not take any chances. I am going to open up with a disintegrate. I'll blow 2 charges. Oh, he resists. Let's see if he can... Let's see if we can swing him to death. Okay, I'm uncomfortable with him being next to me. He could actually do quite a bit of damage to us, come to think of it. Let's just finish him off. That's, you know, we spent 2 charges of disintegrate, whatever. That's a wand that I don't want to say it becomes useless, but it becomes significantly worse later in the game. because of the fact that it's predicated upon an MR check. So this, if you're going to use it, Lair and pre-Lair, that's the time to do it. Like, really, really just feel free to blow charges of Disintegrate if you have to. That's one of those ones that's, like, really, really nice. Oh, right, something I forgot to mention. You lose your boots when you're in the water. So if you have some really useful ego on some boots, or if you have some super amazing artifact boots you found, you want to be aware of that as a merfolk. You will lose them for as long as you're in the water. Alright, we'll eat some more. Let's look at our shopping list. See, we have all this gold already. Normally a character would not have so much gold so quickly and be able to go to the mall or whatever and shop for whatever you want. But we're worshiping Gozag. We get paid. So, we're not gonna buy the Potion of Degeneration just to identify it. I'm not even gonna waste 11 gold on that. I won't be qualified eating for the rest of this game, so not a big deal. Okay, we want the might, we want the haste, resistance, and we'll take the ambrosia as well. And now, look at all this stuff we've got. Turns out we have 3 potions of haste right now. That's awesome. If we die, it's totally, I don't know. I don't see this character dying unless I make a horrible mistake. Anytime you have haste in your inventory, the game has to work hard to take you down unless you're making bad mistakes. Okay, now I want all these potions. I want them eventually, but I have copies of them. So let's save our gold a bit, because what I would really like to get at this point is that +5 Ring of Slaying. Doesn't that look extra nice? Especially with the -3 slaying we have from the armor. So let's just play it a little bit. Let's calm down with the spending spree a bit, and if we buy anything before the slaying, it'll be that Amulet of Guardian Spirit. But chances are good we're gonna go straight for the slaying. I mean, 1400 gold is pretty significant on any character, and on Gozag, you really have to pay a certain amount of attention to the, the math of, like, well, how many merchants could I call for that? I could call, like, 1.5 merchants with that. I'd be halfway to bribing a branch with that much gold. I think Potion Petition is, like, something like 400 gold when it's not free. How many potion petitions is that? That's like 3.5 potion petitions. So, because Gozag doesn't have a traditional piety system, now you're kind of wanting to... Oh, Scroll of Blinking, that's worth spending some gold. Scroll of Enchant Armor we don't need right now. Recharging we'd like. We're going to tag both of those, and the food we'll tag. And identify... Let's pick up the identify and the other identify. Those are worth it to me because knowing what you've got available it's good. Fortunately, we got a scroll of uselessness. Okay. But yeah, gold is a resource. It's always a resource, but in normal games, non-Gozag games, it tends to be a resource where you just kind of screw around and forget that it's there. I mean, you find something you want and you spend it, and you're like, whatever, it's just gold. In Gozag, it becomes a focus of the game. Not necessarily the main focus, but a primary focus. I hate fighting whites. I don't like being drained. That's why I was throwing tomahawks at them. I seem to be evading and whatnot. I actually have RN+, which I think might make me immune to draining from them because their drain is so weak. Not positive. Got a pretty good ring here. RN+ and 4 EV. We'll put it on the list. It's not like the ideal for what I would want to see in an artifact ring, but I'm not going to be sad about it. I mean, that's a good ring. Everything else here is pretty pretty pass-worthy. I guess Sinv is here. Amulet of Reflection, it's a weak one, it's okay. Magical Power would be okay if I got Guardian Spirit. Let's put rocks back on as our main throw. Never going to run out of rocks. My god, we have found a lot of stores. This is an abnormal amount of stores to find this early, in my experience. Sack of spiders. So we're going to have a pretty big shopping list. It looks like... And it gave us an artifact short sword, which I guess I should identify, but I don't want to waste the gold on it. But yeah, this is a really odd number of shops, and so it looks like we're probably not going to be calling any merchants this game because we're just getting this outrageous amount of shops. Some gloves here. Let's wear the staff. And let's keep the staff on us because Staff of Air, if you recall, gives you electricity resistance. We have this ring, we'll wear it, +2 strength. Not a huge benefit, but it's decent. Okay, wow, a vampiric glaive. I'm not a big fan of the vampiric brand. I know this is like blasphemy or something, but I don't like the vampiric brand. I don't think it's very good outside of a speed run. If you're in a speed run, you're using a vampiric axe because you just want to tab and just take things out, and you cannot afford to take things optimally. Vampiric on like a glaive, I feel like I'd rather just have freeze or flaming or something where I can hit them. I can just keep hitting them and kill them before I have to heal. And you also want to make sure that you're playing an AC character because vampiric, if you're going to use vampiric, you want to be taking lots of small damage hits for your vampiric to drain into you versus an EV character where you're taking a big hit occasionally and then it takes forever for your vampiric to drain it back to you, and the math works out wrong. With that said, I'm happy to see this, and I'm probably going to swap right into that. The only reason I'm just a little bit looking a gift horse in the mouth here is because if I buy that and I wear it in Lair, Hydras are going to be a pain because I won't really be able to swap off. However, I'm doing pretty good on evokers here. Wands. Oh my god, this game is so generous. Artifact boots? Oh, they're crap. Wow, +9 dex, but they're crap. And minus Tella. No thanks. They're the boots of... I'm not going to wear you. Right as I'm saying the game's being really nice to me. By the way, if you were to run out of food on Gozag, buying a food shop is always an option. So if you have like 800 gold to spare. This is one of the reasons I don't like to purchase shops unless I need food. I'd rather save my gold for potion petition or items to buy from naturally spawning shops. And the reason is, yeah, if I'm running out of food, I want to have a get out of jail free card for that. Okay, our defenses are good enough that I feel comfortable next to an ogre now. I wouldn't want to do it, indefinitely, but it's enough that I'm not gonna treat it as an emergency situation anymore. Our defenses are in a pretty decent spot. Okay, what we're gonna buy next is for sure the gloves, the glowing gloves, because we do not have any gloves yet. Got a scarf here. We're gonna keep that in our inventory because if we run into like I don't know, an ice cave, then maybe we'll do a little inventory cleaning. Drop that dagger of pain. Oh, another There's another amulet, but I don't feel courageous enough to wear ID it and possibly get hit with harm. Okay, this isn't terrible. This is actually really good. This is a good run so far. It started out, I mean, you remember, I'm sure, not too long ago I was complaining about how rough this run was. But overall, once we got past the really bad early game hurdle, we're doing pretty hot right now. All right, what to do about this ogre? Two-headed ogre. So I don't feel comfortable next to a two-headed ogre, since they're essentially like a hasted ogre that does more damage. I'm willing to, I think Wand of Disintegrate is the move here. Let's just see. Really? 69%, and he resists both times. All right, time to do some math. 15 plus 20 is 35. 35 damage plus, and he has a giant spiked club. Of course he has a giant spiked club. Which does 22. Yeah, that's my whole hit points. The GDR for my armor will help some with that, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to double zap him with this lightning. We waste a few charges, but we did at least get an identify out of that. Now, I know that ogres are fat, so they have low EV. And so I knew that would work pretty fast, although I wanted to do it in 1 or 2 hits, not 3. Fortunately, apparently even with like, oops, even with almost 6 evocations, it's just not, it just didn't want to, the RNG didn't want to play nice with us there. And that'll happen. Oh, Disintegrate Wand. Let's try not to let him waste too much of that. And of course he immediately does. We have a nice little collection of wands now. So in terms of resources, we're doing really, really well. Like this game has been pretty good to us. Okay, we got a wand here. We're going to buy this scroll. We're going to put the helmet on our list, but not necessarily buy it. Do I want to buy the wand? I'm hurting on inventory space, and I've got a pretty nice selection of wands already. But it's got to be something that I don't have yet, which means it could be something really cool, like it could be an acid wand. It could be a hex. Haven't seen any real hexes yet. Confuse, paralyze. I have too many good things I want to buy, and I have too many good wands already, so we won't do that. Instead, I'm going to go over here, and we're going to buy these gloves. More AC. Oh my god. That's good. It's +2. It's +2 already. So our AC is really, really boosted right now. I mean, look at that. 28 AC. And we haven't even hit Lair yet, and we have 15 EV. This is shaping up to be a pretty good run. Pretty good all around. But the specter of inventory management raises its ugly face. We'll drop wands of flame. I like to keep one on me for the purposes of lightning, whatever's the not serpents, but you know, the electric eels. Let's read this in case it's noise. Okay, that was fog. That was our 5 stack. Oh man, what else is? What scrolls are not identified? I feel like that's a lot of. Okay. I don't want to start read IDing the low stacks because I could waste a brand weapon. Or a summoning, or a holy word, which is all 3 of those are things I don't want to waste. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna not... But that's 4 unidentified scrolls in my inventory right now. That's half of the ones that are left unidentified. If you're curious how to get to that menu, you just press the slash, like the one above the enter key. Backslash, I guess. And then you can scroll down, and this is the stuff you've already identified, and this determines whether you can pick things up or not automatically. If you hit the dash button, now you can see what you don't have unidentified, or what you have unidentified, what you haven't not identified yet. And that can be useful when you're trying to figure out, like, gee, do I want a panic quaff? Is this thing really going to help me? Because if you see that all you have unidentified is like a potion of agility, you probably don't want to quaff that. Even though it's nice to have, that's the kind of thing that you don't. It's not the kind of thing that's going to save you probably at the last possible gasp. Okay, what do we want to drop here? I think I will drop the Wand of Flame. I have so much other stuff. We'll wear this ring. It is a cursed -4 ring of slaying, so I think we can say goodbye to that. I can tab this ogre. Probably stop training evocations around 8 or 10. Still no Lair, but it can show up as late as D11. It's always uncomfortable, in my opinion. Oh wow, a D9 Cyclops. It's always uncomfortable, in my opinion, when you get a Lair on D11. It just feels like it's too late. It feels like you're in a lot of danger messing around with dungeon stuff at that level. But then again, dungeon has a lot of variability in the danger level. Sometimes you'll get a D11 that's just, it's got nothing that you really need to be worried about. Sometimes you get a D11 that has, you know, really nasty uniques. I know it looks like I'm just tabbing the Cyclops. I have an understanding that it's dangerous. I was just waiting for it to do any damage to me and see if I could just electrocute it to death fast. I'll tell you something about this. I'm not happy that I haven't really done any weapon training. It's a little bit, probably what I've done here is a bit suboptimal, but on the other hand, with electricity, you just don't need any, you know? You just don't need it. At least not at this stage in the game. The game will remind you when you get enough gold to purchase things on your shopping list, and of course you'll see it'll be in nice bright colors rather than dark ones if it's affordable. I have this stuff, my shopping list, I use it speculatively. I won't necessarily buy all the stuff on this list. It's just kind of to have a shorthand for stuff I will probably or maybe might want in the future. This Wraith is something that could be very dangerous if we fought it next to anything else because of the slowing effect. Did I just see... Yeah, I saw an artifact mace. Really having inventory management problems here. I wish we had more identify. I'm sure that some of those potions are crap, or things that are otherwise not useful for us. Some of the scrolls as well. Let's go ahead and draw Brilliance. We haven't found any spells that we want. Chances are good this is going to be either a spellless run or a near spellless run. Okay, we'll remove Curse on this. Let's drop the Staff of Air. We'll keep the mace around since it has Arelec, and we'll keep it as just like a stat stick is what those are called. A weapon you don't want to use, but you might want to throw it on if you're running from something, or if you really need to, if you really need that resistance, like right now, then, oh geez. Okay, I had identified, didn't I? Here it is. You can hit the comma button when you're doing something to instead do it to the ground, so I can read this right off the ground if I want to. Scroll of Silence. Not great for us to identify now because we aren't going to need it for a while, probably. But then again, we might run into, like, Irolcha or something. My god, this is outrageous. Look at this. We've got 6 Scrolls of Enchant Weapon. Again, usually suboptimal to just stack those, but in this particular case... Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop the wands that I have duplicates of, that are unidentified. And as I use them up, I will of course replace them. Hello. One of these goofy little teleporter vaults. I see a Death Yak. I hope that this means that we got our Lair relatively early on D9, and we don't have to go all the way to D11 or D10. Death Yaks, of course, can be quite dangerous if you just tab them, but I actually like running into Death Yaks because despite the high MR and overall high damage and high defense for this point in the game, well, maybe not high defense, but just decent amount of hit points, hard to kill quickly. Despite all of that, there's still just sort of a beat stick, just a bunch of, you know, bunch of damage. Damage and hit points. Nothing particularly spooky or surprising that they can do to you. They don't move fast. They usually have a pack. I'm a bit confused as to why this one doesn't. Let's try to poison him, because cool thing about Death Yaks, not resistant to poison. Looks as sick as possible. Okay. Let's... I should have been throwing at him. Let's take him upstairs so we're fighting him alone. Let's see if we can't just take him down with lightning. With all of our AC, we're gonna... Oh, man. He's not playing nice. What is upstairs? Honestly, really tempted to just lure him all the way to D6. And go to the water. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this guy all the way to D6. He can only do an absolute maximum of 30 damage to us. Probably less, thanks to GDR. So he can't outright kill us with random energy. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and go up. I'm going to rest. I'm going to go back down, pull him. And we're just going to... This is outside of the box thinking right here. 45 needles, that should be enough. We've picked up a friend along the way in the form of this orc. Looks as sick as possible. Okay, good. Yak looks as sick as possible. Just a bit of tedium here. The orc dies first, not terribly surprising. And we'll just keep him as sick as possible. Every so often refreshing the poison. I don't think there's any way to tell at a glance if they are as sick as possible. It's just one of those things that it's a message you get when the thing hits. But like a player, I believe that they lose poison level as time goes on and they take the damage. And there we go. He's dead. Isn't that nice? Oh hey, it's one of us. He's kind of tough for us to fight right now. We're gonna disintegrate him if this fight goes badly. See, like anytime you're fighting something like this where it can do pretty strong damage to you, but you're not gonna be in a life or death situation if he hits you one time really hard, it's nice to kind of speculatively attack them. Because maybe the RNG will work nice for you, especially if you have an electric brand or something like that. So I could have opened up with Disintegrate on this guy, but I attacked him instead, even though I was a little bit apprehensive, and I took him down without wasting any resources. Oh geez, I can already tell this vault is like a disaster waiting to happen. And we've got our lair, so I'll cut the video short. I'll probably go ahead and upload the next one tomorrow. It's getting a bit late. I was planning on as like kind of to make up for the last video, the last run ending so abruptly. I was planning on doing a 2 for tonight, but the excessively slow and dangerous early game for this run, which is generally not something you expect with a strong race like this, kind of put the kibosh on that. Let's identify this scroll. Holy word, that's nice to see. Let's wear this. It's not nearly as good as our chainmail. Got a nice stack of food here. I mean, again, go Zag. No food, just perma-food. Would you be concerned in this situation? 5 bread rations, 8 meat rations. Looks like we're fine to me. This will last us for a very long time. I wouldn't recommend casting on it. I wouldn't recommend, you know, giving yourself spell hunger, casting things that are high level especially. But on a melee character, yeah. Alright, we got yaks and death yaks. We're going to need to take it slow with these guys. Unfortunately, we're not at the point where we can just tab these guys to death. Well, we can tab the yaks to death. Got a little bit of water on this floor, but not enough to make it possible to kite this thing. So, as silly as it may or may not... Gold. Oh. Whoops. As silly as it may seem, we really are going to take it all the way back to that. We really are going to take it back to this. And, you know, why not? If it's safe, you know, other than risking out-of-depth spawns, if it's safe, why would I take the risk of trying to fight this thing or use, like, resources, you know, use consumables, that is, scrolls, potions, what have you? Why would I do that, especially with all of his buddies around? You know, if I'm going to be taking them one by one to another floor anyway, why not take it one step further and do this? And by the way, don't think that you can't do this just because you're not a merfolk. If you have potions of flying and you have the opportunity to do something like this with them, consider it. Especially if you're hurting for experience. Even a couple death yaks, this is a pretty decent amount of experience for this point in the game. And there we go. Now, is this supposed to be like some kind of tomb joke? Like, I see the tomb walls and the sarcophagi and sarcophaguses? Sarcophagi? Yeah. Okay. Ruined rapier, amulet, ruined stash, a ruined broadaxe. I guess it's tagged as a stash. I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe, I think if it's tagged as a stash, there might be more than one thing there. None of this stuff looks particularly worth going up against this nasty pile of undead. Particularly these Death Knights can just essentially torment us. if we had like a maybe a wand of clouds, I might consider it. I might haste and roll in here and just take them out. I have the scroll of holy word that I could blow. But in general, I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna make a note, come back at XL20, and I can just tab through this stuff. Nothing in here is worth going up against this stuff. You'd be hard pressed to find. I don't care if there was an artifact demon trident in here. I wouldn't fight this at this point. This is silly. But good to keep in mind for the future. Okay. So we're at the lair. I'll cut the video short here. But next time we're not going to die to a spiny frog. We're gonna be very careful. And really, with this level of resources, as I was saying, I mean, I would have nobody to blame but myself, especially. I had nobody to blame but myself last time, but in particular this time, with all this stuff we've got. Yeah. Hold on. Do I have... I have enough gold for the vampiric glaive. Alright, let's make life even easier for us. We're going to pick up the vampiric glaive. Glaives are good. We're going to pick it up. We're going to eat a little bit of hunger, which is... it's a problem, but it's not too bad. We're going to trade nothing but pole arms for a while. And, oh, magnification. Well, no, that's brilliance. Never mind. All right, we'll go back to the entrance here. What I want to do is... enchant this up. I'm hitting the tilde key without hitting shift, whatever that little mark is. I can't think of it right now. To repeat the action over and over. And so now we have a +8 glaive of vampirism. I mean, I think that's good. Do you think that's good? We're going to drop all this other stuff. We're going to drop the blowgun even, and the needles. We won't be swapping off. Swapping off is not a good thing when you're on a food clock that actually matters. Swapping off vampirism, that is. But oh man, yeah, vampiric glaive +8. Can afford it now, and with our +4 apt on pole arms, I mean, it's reached a skill level 20. The Mendeley is, but we'll get there. We'll get there pretty fast. So yeah, that's it. I'll call that the video. Just under 2 hours. Sorry about the length. Next time we should, barring problems, have a pretty easy time in the lair. Until next time.